Welcome to Pop On to Pop Off. Jack Willard here with you on a cold 23-degree night as I do this impromptu live. It's Thursday night, the 12th of December, 2024. And we already have two that have found us, and Sammy is one of them, and he confirms it's freezing. So obviously, Sammy is not talking to us from Miami. Aisha is here as well. Hi, Aisha. Welcome, Belinda Taylor. Hey, we're the monkeys. People say we monkey around. Sometimes we do. Trish Terry, might as well tell the truth. Hi, Jack and friends. Hello. Cindy from South Louisiana finds us just like that. Hello, Jack and friends. Now I better put on another pair of glasses because these don't have the long range that I'm looking for. And I meant to bring my Dollar Tree specs, but I think I forgot. Getting a little shaggy here. And I was at Vito's today. Karen got her hair cut. By the way, we'll see if Vito comes on before I say anything. That's a little better. Betty Woodall is here. Hi, Betty. Where are you watching us from? Welcome. I don't recognize your name, so welcome, Betty. Brenda Sutton is here. We have several Brendas. Hello from Georgia. Is it getting chilly in Georgia, or are you okay? Are you in the 40s or something like that, or maybe even warmer? Aisha Acevedo from down under Australia. Of course. Don't want to miss. Well, thank you very much. I'm sorry for not scheduling this, and this is the second Thursday in a row I've just popped on to pop off. I've been in that kind of mood lately, um, trying to spend more time with Karen and get other things done, but realizing that I've got to come see our video family here and get some projects completed. Yes, Cindy, as we get older, we have multiple pairs of glasses. We don't throw out a pair of prescription glasses when they say we need a stronger prescription. We end up wearing both. Pierogi Josie, that's what I want to call you. Is that pierogi, right? Yeah. Good evening, Jack and everybody. How are you, Josie? By Steely Dan. Rita Origa is here. Hi, Jack and everyone from Illinois. Brenda Sutton says it's definitely chilly. Definitely chilly. Yes. Sammy's looking for Ted Richards. We've got multiple colors here today. Multiple colors. Tanya Sears joins us as well. I'm doing well, better than I deserve. Tanya, how about you? I'm speaking low because once again, it is too cold to have the doors shut and the vent closed off so that Bradford downstairs doesn't hear me. So I got to keep it low, because he just went to bed a little while ago. We're on totally different schedules. Often I've just gotten up when he's coming in, or at least taking a break around 11 a.m. and I hear him coming downstairs. So I have to be a good housemate and keep it kind of low. It's going to be even more cold tomorrow. Tomorrow is the biggie. In the 20s for the high, and then maybe down to the single digits at night. This is where you worry about the pipes freezing, that kind of thing. So, but then by Monday, Tuesday, it'll be warmer again in the 40s. We had a 57-degree day yesterday, but it was pouring rain. It was pouring out there, but we need that. We've been in a drought situation. We don't get into drought situations like they do in Southern California or Las Vegas or, places like that. Um, I know they've had some trouble in Malibu again. And well, I was close to Malibu, but I never really hung out there. I was in Santa Monica, which is right next door. Right next door. Will Bob Joyce be at the inauguration? That is the title of this video. And Dexter is back, or he will be for Friday the 13th. As I do this broadcast, he is not too far away. I believe Dexter Original Sin, the prequel, will appear first on Paramount Plus, who bought Showtime. They own CBS too now. At 9 p.m. East Coast time tomorrow. And then I'm not sure. I think, it's not like you can see it whenever you want to because they talked about another play, 10 o'clock Sunday night. I think that might be East Coast time. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to it. I got my subscription this week for Paramount Plus, which comes with Showtime and CBS, which they own, and the Smithsonian channel, which I haven't seen in a long time. There's some good stuff on there, I think, from time to time. Rill Overton or Bill? Rill? Greetings, Jack, from Higginsville, Missouri. How are you? Is it really Rill? And what's your temperature there? Are you, I think you have some cold weather in Missouri, right? Are you in the chill right now? It's chilly here, says Cindy in South Louisiana. Hoping for a cold Christmas. I've heard of hoping for a white Christmas, but I don't know if you get a white Christmas in Louisiana. Just don't know. Laura Shadley joins us from Otway, Ohio. Welcome. Freezing in Illinois, 13 degrees. Yeah, that chill is coming this way. That chill is coming this way. And where's the other Brenda, right? Says Sam Sammy. Because the first thing you will hear if she doesn't show up tonight is in the replay is, damn, I missed it. That's the first thing you'll hear. Good evening, Todd Bradshaw. Welcome, welcome. Good evening, Jack, and everyone. Love your hat. 33 degrees here in Tennessee. Yeah. Did it used to get that chilly in December, Todd, or are things, the global warming people would have us believe that it'll be in the 50s and 60s in New York on a regular basis in December and even January, but it hasn't been that way. It hasn't been that way. We've had some very cold days, but here in the lower Hudson Valley, we haven't had the snow. Now up, once you start Syracuse and up, going into western New York, my goodness, they've been trounced. I think they might have got another 3 feet of snow or are going to get another 3 feet of snow where I got my start in radio, Fredonia, Dunkirk. two two small places that are very close, 3 miles apart. Fredonia, Dunkirk, Central Avenue. Oh my goodness, you fine people are blessing me with hitting the thanks button. And I thank you. Thank you, Aisha Acevedo from Australia for $10. Thank you. And Sam Sammy for 99 cents. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much. That's a nice way to start this pop on to pop off. So we know that Pastor Bob Joyce has been to Mar-a-Lago at a fundraising event, gave the prayer, hobnobbed with billionaires, and Gavin Nunez and others. Everybody wanted their picture, it seems, with Pastor Bob, and Walina was there, and same thing. And so I'm thinking he's going to be at the inauguration on January 20th. That he's going to be there. He'll probably attend a party or two. I think he will. Will we get pictures of it? I don't know. Lady likes humor. Nice and hot springs it is. What's the temperature there in Gene Ho land, huh? Have you met the donkey over at Gene's farm? Have you? He bit Elvis. Did you know that donkey bit Elvis? Yeah, that's the joke. um, but the person he apparently really bit was Pastor Bob Joyce. You can't make this stuff up, you know? This story you can't. And see, Ted Richards requested by, was it Sam Sammy? And he magically appears like through a genie bottle. Hello, everyone. Nice hat, Jack. Well, thank you. How are you, bus lady? Welcome, Ted. Hello from South Dakota, where the temperature is -3. Let's face it, the hottest governor in the country, she may have a love for your state. I don't doubt it, but she's not going to miss that. She's not going to miss that when she's in Washington. I tell you what. Who's going to be your governor now, bus lady? The lieutenant governor? Do you have a lieutenant governor? Sometimes they don't call the second person a lieutenant governor, do they? Um, they don't call it the assistant governor even either. Who's your second in command in South Dakota? Um, I suppose she's going to have to hand over the baton in January. She's going to have to hand over the baton. I guess she wants to wait till she's officially confirmed, though. Um, Laura Shadley says the YouTubers were saying the mothership of drones was flying around New York, New Jersey, and little drones were going around. Yeah, that's been a big story. It's been a very big story. And I cannot believe, Admiral Kirby, the State Department spokesman, whatever his official title is, basically saying, don't believe your eyes. People are seeing this every night. They've seen dozens of them. And apparently, it's been happening before November 18th, at least according to the testimony I heard on the Sean Hannity radio show today. It's been happening before that. They've got video of it and what have you. I don't know what Admiral Kirby is about, but between him and Christopher Wray, for example, it's kind of disappointing character wise. We all have flaws in our character, but all you've got to say is that don't believe your eyes. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Really? Really? Shocking, Semi. Shocking. We have 54 watching right now. That's wonderful. Lady Like Schumer says it's 50 in Hot Springs. No, haven't met the donkey. Well, you have to because he seems like a fine chap. Maybe Pastor Bob just, put his arm out too quick and he scared the donkey, you know? Or maybe the donkey was trying to be a smartass. He should be wanting to be a smartass. He doesn't want to be a dumb donkey, you know? So maybe that was it. Laura's doing good, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yes, any pain can really be a pain. It can be really be a drag. Hope you are feeling better. I deal with, Karen who has these issues. She's going to see a pain specialist the day after she gets her Botox injections in January. This time we're going to have to go up to Rock Hill, New York, not Rock Hill, South Carolina. Rock Hill, New York, to the other Crystal Run Healthcare because that's where her doc is going to be. Okay, we can do that. I mean, if we can climb the mountains to go to Monticello, we can certainly climb one or two mountains. Yeah, you're kind of like climbing the second mountain where there you are all of a sudden at the Rock Hill exit. So we can do that. Susan Safiati. Hi, Susan Safiati. Claudette. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Claudette. It's freezing, huh? Says Claudette. Everybody's having that experience. Not Richard, the lion-hearted, though. I don't know that he's here, but I'm sure it's not too bad in West Palm Beach, you know? Once you get past the September, October hurricanes, which seem to be a given now, you know, you're all right. I think the safest place to be is like in the middle of the state, like not that I'm good at geography, but Orlando is a lot safer than being in apparently Port St. Lucie or any place that's on the water. Ray is a liar. Yeah, it's just him and I have to say the Admiral Kirby really disappointing. Really disappointing. Um, the people look to their leaders, to their government to supply answers. And the thing they don't want to hear from uh, Admiral Kirby is that your eyes are playing tricks on you, which, that indicates that it's something that the U.S. is up to. Some people have said that they saw at least one account of this, that they saw one of these huge drones, if that's what you want to call them, coming out of the ocean. Some are the size of an SUV or even a bus, and they make a sound like a Harley. Now, people don't ride Harleys too much in New Jersey this time of year. They've been spotted in New York and Pennsylvania as well. When you come up on them, when you spot them, supposedly they turn dark. They go dark. And so this is, they are close to where President Trump's New Jersey golf course home is. They're close to nuclear sites. And we all know that drones can gather information. And so we elect these people to keep us in the dark. Can it ever be okay to be left in the dark? I guess you would have to say yes when there's clear and present danger. But this has become a habit. This has become a habit. And I wouldn't have blamed the entire press crew that when he said your eyes are playing tricks on you, or it's a airplane or whatever. If the whole press crew just walked out on him, that's probably what needed to happen. Just walked out on him. Jeanette is here, is she? Yeah. And so is Jerry Adams. Hey, how you doing? Hi, Jerry. Where are you from again? I think we've had you before. Pat Pale is here. Was that a T? Pat Pate? Hello, Jack. Enjoying your show. Well, I'm just popping on to pop off, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. This is more informal. Woodsley Summercraft. That's Rob. Where are you from there, Pat? Woodsley is Rob, and he's at work. Yeah, he's not retired. Tanya Sears says Gitmo is filling up. Um, it's interesting that more and more people seem willing all of a sudden to work with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, Donald John Trump, Time Magazine's Person of the Year 2024, who rang the bell today at the New York Stock Exchange. Melania was there with him. And everybody treated him like a rock star. And they were shouting, USA, USA. This is Manhattan, man. This is lower Manhattan. I've been outside that building, never inside. I'm a very, very small investor, like next to nothing. But, you know, better to have a little something in there than nothing at all. Jerry Bridges, not Lloyd Bridges, not Bo Bridges. Your brother, Bo Bridges, is working quite a bit. He's in some current stuff in his early 80s now. And I wanted to check him out. He's a good actor, there's no doubt about it. Everybody knows Jeff, but Bo Bridges had his time in the sun. But as you look at his IMDb, it is apparent that he's never stopped working. He's never stopped working. Some projects are bigger than others. Gloria Drummond is here. Jesus is the only answer. I can't argue with that. Jesus is the only answer, but I believe he's using Donald Trump. I believe he's using him for such a time as this. Once again, fulfilling the scripture, God will use the foolishness of this world to confound the wise. Real Overton says, I've been using castor oil to get rid of cataracts. Really, you don't hear much about castor oil anymore. When I was young, I heard about people being given that in tablespoons. I drop some into my eye every night. In only about a month, I can see much better up close. Okay. We're going to have to consult with Rand Paul, though, Senator Rand Paul, to see if that's a smart thing to be doing, Real. Rand Paul is an ophthalmologist who gets to practice sometimes, like on the breaks, like now. He gets to do an eye surgery now and then. He does. Susan is here. Yes, Susan Safiati. Thank God Trump won. Amen, amen, and amen. There's just such a joy in the country now. There's such an optimism, even from the Democrats, who are now openly admitting that they should have never let this woke nonsense into their party, that it destroyed it. It motivated people to vote against them. Even I wish I could remember the interview, but AOC was talking to a Republican who I think she wants, who may be in a position to get her something passed or whatever. I, I I can't remember. Maybe someone here can. But she was flirting with this person, batting her eyes. I mean, this is the most attractive I've ever seen AOC. I'm not saying that I didn't think she was pretty to begin with, but when you take off that woke hate mask, you just start to look like more of a human being, you know? And I haven't heard anything about the others. We know two of them, Cory Bush and the guy who set the fire alarm off, will soon be gone from our government, I think forever. And that's great. Hi, Nancy DeMarco. How are you? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you found us on our Pop On to Pop Off for this Thursday night. About 23 degrees here in the Hudson Valley. Oh boy, we did laundry today. We went over to Mr. Washy Washy's, and first Karen got her hair cut at 2 o'clock at Classy Cuts. I have to be careful I don't mispronounce the second name. Classy Cuts with Vito Yazzo. I don't see Vito here. He goes to bed early, though, because he's got to be up early in the morning, to get back to the salon that he owns, Classy Cuts. Now, he only needs 7 more subscribers to get to 1,000, and then I think he can go live. I don't know about singing those songs live. That's a whole other thing once you become monetized, you know? That's a whole different thing. I didn't talk to him about that. I had a conversation with him today. I didn't get my hair cut, even though I need a haircut. But Karen was getting her hair cut with the lovely, come on. I know who this is. She's lost 45 pounds and she looks great. Sherry Baby, Sherry with an I, from Pennsylvania, the great state of Pennsylvania. Interesting about the castor oil, though, because boy, you sure heard that being forced down kids' throats, back in my day. You're going to have the castor oil whether you like it or not. Brian Sims, hello from Oklahoma. Well, hi, Brian. Are you retired or are you still out there fighting every day? Faith Lloyd, hey, I came on a little early, Faith, but you're going to bed and you probably are not completely retired, or you're one of these people that's up at 6 in the morning. When I'm up at 6 in the morning, it's probably because I stayed up the night before and I have an early appointment I just couldn't get out of. Perhaps we'll see you Saturday night at 10 p.m. East Coast time for our normal worldwide ramblings, and we could pop on anytime, morning, noon, or night. I'm going to be on Christmas Day. I'm telling you now, I will be on Christmas Day for short little spurts here and there. Jack, what Bible you got? Well, I've got quite a few. Look, there's so many. Why, will I buy Old Testament? Advise me, please. Well, you want, of course, both the Old and the New Testament. The New International Version, the NIV, is very popular. Get it in big print, something about even if you don't need big print, it comes alive more in big print. So I would get the NIV version. Go down to Ollie's. Do you have an Ollie's where you are? Ollie sells a lot of Christian books, and they have good prices on Bibles. Or you can go to Amazon. You can do that. Always fun to walk in a store like Ollie's. They got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You never know. But some of you may not have an Ollie's. We do, and I haven't been in there in quite a while. So I would recommend the NIV. Don't start at the beginning. You'll start getting into the begats. So-and-so begat this one and that one, and you'll get discouraged. By the time you get to Deuteronomy, you'll definitely be discouraged. So I would say, start in the New Testament with the Gospel of Matthew. And then when you're ready for your journey into the Old Testament, start with Psalms and Proverbs. I would say that. I like a nice Bible. It's got big print. This is my Miracle Bible here. This is the New King James Version. That's fine too. And the reason I call this one My miracle Bible is it just appeared under a tree when I was doing my walking. Mm, Brush my teeth, and here comes the white lips again. I should put on some lipstick. Nice peach lipstick. I'm joking, Ted. I'm joking. Boy. That's a little better. But there it was in perfect condition. And I had was it was under a tree that was on an incline, and that was back when I used to jog a little bit, just a little. And I went by the first time, and I don't think that Bible was there. Then I went by the second time, and there it was. So I call it my miracle Bible. But I have, if you're a serious student of the Bible, you want to study Bible, whether it be the New International Version, the NIV, or the New American Standard Version. I wouldn't recommend for a new student the King James. The New King James better, but you don't want to deal with the these and the thous. It'll discourage you. So a study Bible would be good, and you can find them at Ollie's, and of course you can find them. Um, Now, if you get the Catholic Bible, there's gonna be books in there not recognized by the Protestant church, you know? There's gonna be several books, and, Protestant theologians would say those were not authorized to be in the Bible. There's a debate, there's a debate. Like, Maccabees, that's where they get the praying for the dead scripture comes out of 2nd Maccabees. Um, can you pray for the dead? Protestant theologians say no, too late, and um, Catholics, since they stress the doctrine of purgatory, um, they would say yes, you can, yes, you can. There's quite a few more. Yuck! I won't try. I'm going into the middle of a conversation here. In Florida, they were selling barbecue Gatorade. Is that what you're saying? Jerry Adams, do you know a lot of radio stations? And have you ever seen the Bin Bin Crosby radio station? The Bin Bin Crosby or Bing Crosby? And do you know a lot of radio stations? Well, back in the day, I, of course, was an aficionado of that. I lived here in the New York area when I was growing up. And so I got to hear all the greats that came out of New York. But I could also pull in CKLW, a station, as I recall, where the studio was in America, but the transmitter was in Canada, I believe. Anybody remember the trucking bozo on the big one, 700, the big one? Forget where that was now. Um, I could say St. Louis, but I'm probably wrong. But that was great. And then when I lived in Los Angeles for a year, I got to hear all the great radio personalities in Los Angeles. Many of them were game show hosts, especially in the morning. Um, I got to hear Wink Martindale's radio show and Jeff Edwards, who's passed away now. Wink is still hanging on. Um, Gary Owens, passed away now, host of the announcer for Laugh-In. Do some of you remember Laugh-In? And Revelation is another book I wouldn't start with because um, for a new student of the Bible, it would be they wouldn't be ready for it. And many people have different interpretations and what have you. Um, Alligator Alley BBQ Gator. What does that mean? Hi, Jeanette Fair. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Hi, Rill. Nice to know. When was that? Got to back up there. Oh, I see. You were talking about a real alligator barbecued, huh? Is that what we're saying, Sam Sammy? I definitely wouldn't try it either. All these things they say taste just like chicken. I'll have the chicken, please. And I could be talked out of even having the chicken if I really thought about it long enough. You know, let me go see, like them kill 100 chickens and I'll probably stop eating chicken. My ollies are low on their stock of Bibles right now. Well, I guess that's good news down, yeah. Um, Anytime I go to the one in the town of Walkill, they got plenty of Bibles for sale. And you can find a lot of things because they buy closeouts. You might find a kitchen sink in there. You might find a hot tub. You never know what you're going to find at Ollie's, but it's a cool store. It reminds me very much of Martin's, which is only in Maine. If you go to Maine, whether it be Lewiston, Maine, or Sanford, Maine, that's the one we used to go to. Go to Martin's. It's a really cool. Yeah, I'm not saying it's the cleanest store you've ever seen, but there's a lot of deals in Martin's in Maine. Is my Maine friend here? We won't be joining you when it's this cold, but this summer, perhaps this summer. In fact, we're going to really try for that. Um, where does Karen want to go in Maine? Kidder, Kidder something, Maine? Only because there's supposed to be a great restaurant there that has excellent clam chowder and reasonable prices. Kidderhook? Something like that. She just mentioned it the other day that she wanted to stop there. Um, we usually go to Kenny Bunk, but there's a video up here of when we were in Bar Harbor, Maine. And if you can find a place to park, it's great. It's not going to be easy. If you can't parallel park, don't go to Bar Harbor because you're going to have to park way out somewhere. A lot of people in Bar Harbor in the summer, that's for sure. We took a little boat cruise there. So, in terms of your question, music on the radio, Jerry, is not what it used to be. A lot of that, goes with a generational change. XYZ people don't tend to care about radio disc jockeys. They just want to hear the tunes on Pandora or Spotify or YouTube Music. Better get that one in YouTube Music or Amazon Music, And so those glory days are gone, but there are some remnants out there. Right here in Newburgh, New York, we have Fox Oldies, nothing to do with Fox News or, the Fox TV network. But there's some good jocks on there still. And they tend to play the early 60s and some 50s. And that's getting harder and harder to find unless you go to Sirius. Then they tend to chop it up, and have a 50s station, a 60s station, a 70s station. Well, I like to hear a little bit of all three decades because I was born in the 50s, so I wasn't listening to music then. I started to listen to music, I guess, when I was doing a 6-month run in Montreal, Canada with me mum because the Beatles came to America while I was in Montreal. So, Jerry Adams, did you ever see the Larry King live TV show? Probably a couple 100 times, Jerry. Never saw Larry in person um, before he had TV. He started out in his first big break anyway in radio. And I can't say he started in Miami, but he was very prominent in Miami. But some bad things happened to him there. He made some bad choices and broke the law a couple of times. I'm trying to remember what that was all about now. It's been so long since I've But what happened in Miami is that after being kind of a legendary figure there, he had a newspaper column, he had, something he did on TV, and he had his radio show. In the course of 2 days, he lost everything. He lost everything because, some kind of a financial, fraud thing that he was involved with, that he got involved with, and he lost everything and had to start from scratch. But when you have the kind of talent that Larry King had, you can do that. Even when he was in Miami, he was able to attract big guests that were coming into town, like Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was supposed to do 15 minutes, but because of the charm of Larry, he stayed for like an hour, and the manager just couldn't believe it. I've told that full story before, but I think people have heard me tell it. Tanya Sears says, yes, that's good news, Jack. I just wanted another one. I used King James and also a study Bible to help understand a few things. Yes. Jack, did you ever see Larry King? So yeah, I was on his radio show twice in the middle of the night before there was the late great Art Bell. There was the late great Larry King on radio. And when he got the CNN gig at 9 o'clock at night, he kept both. So he would do Larry King live at 9 o'clock, and then he would go to another studio, and he would be on the air from like I want to say midnight to 5 o'clock in the morning. And by 4 a.m., Larry was toast. He was toast. But one time I was on with Larry King when he had the late actor. Maybe you'll remember this name, James Coco. James Coco was a bigger Broadway star than he was a movie star, but he was in movies. And one of the movies he was in was Only When I Laugh with Christy McNichol, who I had this terrific crush on. Um, just like I did with Jodie Foster. I'm attracted to gay women. I don't know why. I don't believe either one of them is gay, by the way. I believe each one is bisexual, and they have a history that would prove that. But that's just cool to say I'm gay. I'm gay. Whereas Christy McNichol, in her early teen years, was with Leif Garrett. She was with Scott Baio. On and on and on. So, Marty Greco, hi, Jack and everyone. Welcome, Marty. Glad you have joined the Patty. And he's saying hello to Sam Sameh and Tedward. Um, Michael Tuza, you're new. I've never heard that name. And the good day tells me, just like our friend here, um, short term memory drives me crazy. You're the second guaranteed second person from Australia here right now as we do this live. But hello, replay crowd. Please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell so that anytime we come on live, you'll know about it, or anytime I guess we do a pre-recorded video and release it. So, Michael, good day, mate. My wife and I think Bob Joyce is Elvis. I've heard a few people have that theory. I don't know where you get it, Michael. What does it for you? What was the defining moment for you? Obviously, I'm joking. I've been talking about this for 6.5 years now. It's fact, it's why do I keep saying 6.5 when in January it will be 7 years? 7 years. And the story keeps getting more interesting. And so now we've got to see, is Bob Joyce going to the inauguration on January 20th? I feel in my gut that he will definitely go. He will definitely go. 100%. 100%. And so we'll see if he is spotted there. What have you missed, Marty? We're just pontificating a little bit about Bob going to the inauguration and um, just normal stuff. We talked about barbecued alligator. I don't think I'm ready for that there. Love that Louisiana alligator meat. Oh, God. But I think if I went to a slaughterhouse, I'd never go to Texas Roadhouse again. Not that I go there very often, but once in a while, yes, Bob will be there, I bet, says Jeanette. I think we're on to something here. I think we're on to something here. B broiled crawfish, says Cindy, are very good. Y'all don't know what you're missing. It's just like baby lobster. Well, I didn't say I wouldn't eat, crawfish, but I don't know about how others feel about it. Um, I like my lobster out of the shell and in like a lobster salad sandwich, That's how I don't want the cracker thing, and, same thing with crabs and what have you. I've talked about this great place, Flaming Grill here in the town of Newburgh, New York, and they got all that stuff, and I stay away from it, I have my salmon and my whitefish and my shrimp, and my spinach and my green beans, and then I have to go after the bad stuff, a little bit of sesame chicken, the lo mein. I never, you know what I've never done at a Chinese buffet, not one time. I've never had rice. It just doesn't seem like something I would fill up on at a Chinese buffet. No, I got to have a little bit. The lo mein is very good. They have garlic bread at Flaming Grill. I try not to have a slice, but because I know that fills you up too, and I know it's not the best choice. You know, D. Lyall 26 is here. Hello, Jack. Have you heard of? Yes, of course, I've heard of Popcorn Sutton. That he's been to Bob has ever been to Bob Church. He was the drummer. He was the drummer there for a long time. I don't think he's returned. But sure, I know who that is and have had interaction with him. Not anymore, but I have had interaction with him. Um, he was with the church from early on. Had a lot to do with Household of Faith coming into existence in the strip mall, and worked on the sanctuary that they have now. So, and served our country. So God bless him for serving our country. Other than that, well, not too much to say there. Would be great to see Pastor Bob give the benediction on the big day, wouldn't it, Ted Richards? Wouldn't it? Yeah, that would be too high profile, I think. But I've been fooled before. Here I am at Villa Roma for Poco Weekend last year. You can see the video up here of me in the lobby. Karen's holding the camera. Um, and I have one that I did prior to that. What you saw was I don't want to say the second take because it was probably the third or fourth take. But I did a take that I think I'm going to put up with a better view of Villa Roma in the lobby. It's so beautiful there. Old school, but beautiful. And I'm fighting a woman is playing the accordion. Her name is Anita, and she's getting louder, and I'm talking louder. And finally, I start to go outside. It's April, and it's kind of chilly and rainy. Um, but it's a fun take that never made air, and I think I'll put that up from Villa Roma. Our uh, our first one was really the best one. Then I have a little video of her playing the accordion in the lobby. I think she was playing "In Heaven There Is No Beer. That's Why We Drink It Here." Yes, one of the old school polka songs, like "I don't want her, you can have her. She's too fat for me. She's too fat for me. She's too fat for me. Oh, I don't want her, you can have her. She's too fat for me. She's too fat. She's too fat. She's too fat for me." That's 50s polka, I guess, right? Yasmin is here. Why would Bob Joyce go to Trump's inauguration? Surely Bob Joyce tries to keep a low profile. Well, he went to Mar-a-Lago. He was dressed kind of like he was in one of the Elvis movies with that white jacket and what kind of tie do you call that? Almost looks like a Western version and black pants. He This is the thing about Bob Joyce. He he can't help himself. He can't help himself sometimes. He can't help himself with the jokes and the hints. And now Gene Ho is around and he can't help himself either. He just gets a kick out of it. You know about the donkey I was referring to earlier that lives on Gene Ho's farm. Um, Pastor Bob went to visit the animals and came and met the donkey. I forget the donkey's name now. And reached out to pet him, and the donkey bit Pastor Bob. So, as Gene was doing one of his live broadcasts or taped, I'm not sure, and his wife was there, probably holding the camera, uh, when he was giving us a little tour of the farm, and he got to the donkey, and he said, "Don't bite Elvis." He says, "My wife hates it when I do that joke." So who knows, you know? Um, hey, he went to George Klein's funeral in Memphis, Tennessee. I believe this is what we believe. We could be wrong. I speak of possibilities. I could be wrong about everything I say. I could be wrong. We speak of possibilities, but that got noticed. It got me into the Daily Star in London. They got better pictures of Priscilla Presley touching the shoulder of who we thought was Bob Joyce out of about 500 people at this funeral. After she spoke on stage, the rabbi called her up. She reluctantly went because she's shy. And she was sitting in the row right behind the people that we think are Bob and Matt Joyce. Bob and Matt Joyce. The Matt being the son of Pastor Bob Joyce. So I think that there's a good chance Pastor Bob has been at a few rallies. People point that out, but then they usually go for a guy with this big beard behind him. I know he could wear that as a disguise. Just didn't look like him to me. Just didn't look like him. So if you don't like publicity, why did you start an international ministry via YouTube? Because as he explained to Spa Guy, who showed up at his door, the Lord gave me visions. I mean, the Lord gave me dreams. Your old men will dream dreams that your young men, the Bible says, will see visions. The Lord gave me dreams to reach the world, and that's what he does. But throughout the years, he's made a number of references. He called himself Elvis. Once we have that video up here, you can find it. We play the clip. We play the clip of him calling himself Elvis. People have shouted it out. Sometimes they edit it out. John Cook edited it out early on when someone shouted Elvis out. And, it happens from time to time. So it's a very complex story here. A very complex story. Yasmin, can President Trump pardon Elvis for faking his death so that he no longer has to hide his identity? I just don't think we have one problem issue, Yasmin, but I think that, there's no pardon needed because this was all orchestrated by the government. Elvis became a federal agent and when he appeared at the White House to meet President Nixon bearing a antique gun as a gift. The bullets were not in the gun, but he probably had the bullets with him. And he got into the office with that gun to meet the President of the United States. Only Elvis could do that. And he talked about how he was very interested in doing something to fight the drug problem that was sweeping the teenagers at that time, the young people, older people too. that he was very interested in having a role in that. He was given a special badge. Now, some would say, well, that was just Nixon being nice and the badge had no power. He also had something to do with the Memphis Police Department. They had made him an honorary deputy or whatever. So I don't know if he even had to go into the witness protection program, if we are right in our assumptions, because he was already a federal agent, so he would be given protection. He would get everything a witness protection person would get, but not necessarily have to be formally in the program. And in terms of being in the program, you can't be in the program once you go around the world via YouTube, you'd have to go back to regular bodyguards at that time. And today's mafia is not running after Elvis, I don't believe if they ever were, And that's a whole other story we tell in the verdict. And um, we're telling in the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis, and the top 20 will be coming up soon. I'm sorry for the delay on that. Um, so he's had fun when he's in a jovial mood with a topic himself. And now Gene Ho is doing that. So there you go. I don't know. I heard someone holler at Elvis in last week or the week before sermon. Yeah. Yeah, I think I heard the same thing. Gloria Drummond is still with us, proclaiming that Jesus is Lord, the only answer. But then she says most people know he's Elvis. So you're interested in the topic too. Jeanette Berglund. Jeanette Berglund is here. Hi, Jack. Hello, Jeanette. You in the UK? I see the American flag, but then I see the flag before it. And you have to remember, I only have a GED. So, you know, isn't Matt the adopted son of Pastor Bob, and is Sabrina and possibly Thomas? Yeah, Thomas. Where's those Thomas photos? Um, it's so hard to answer that, real, because I don't think if you want my gut answer, no. He is he he didn't formally do that. He didn't formally do that. By the time 2011 came around, they were old enough, I believe, that Matt and Sabrina, and I don't know anything about Thomas, to be honest with you, is Robert Wayne Joyce. Robert Wayne Joyce, not Bob Joyce, not the man who calls himself Bob Joyce. I set the camera jumping, didn't I? Is everything okay? Well, there she is, Miss Noyce. Hello, Jack and family. I'm glad you're here, Brenda. So you don't say, gee golly willikers, I missed the live. Supposed to be a book coming out. I've heard that one in 27 about the truth of Elvis. I haven't heard the 27 thing in terms of a book. I think it's the 2027 thing where they will reveal what was in the the initial, the funeral and the details of that and what have you. But the book wouldn't come out until he passed away, which I think is a big mistake. I just don't think he adopted anybody real. That's my feeling. Um, uh, people talk about he doesn't wear a wedding ring and what have you. It's just an area that I don't have any concrete information on. It's just it's an uncertainty. It's like, where is Robert Wayne Joyce? I have a video up here where I raised a question that has been said to me so many times that he died in a car accident. I hope that isn't true, but that's got over 10,000 views. Did Robert Wayne Joyce die in a car accident? Robert Wayne Joyce and Willena Hattie. They were married in Texas in 1975. Elvis was very busy being Elvis in 1975, and that man there did not, in my opinion, transfer into the man you see behind me with Elvis in the middle, Pastor Bob Joyce, as he looks today. So that's the father of Robert Wayne Joyce and Selena Joyce McDonald. Um, I have been told by inner circle people that there's only one. There's only one. That's what I've been told. Ted is saying hello to Jody. Hi, Jody Smith. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If I miss you, it's not intentional. Also, I never eat boiled seafood in a Chinese restaurant. Disgusting. I only eat it from local Cajun people, or I cook it myself. Only way to have great Cajun seafood. Well, we don't have a lot of Cajun seafood here in New York, um, but I think you'd like that flaming grill, though, if you went, Cindy. I think you'd find. I think you'd find that you'd be fixing to go back. Be fixing to go back. It pull you back. Just watch the video with him in Denton's bar in Benton, Arkansas. Yeah, we have a video up of that, of him singing with Matt, the Elvis impersonator. This is one wild story, folks. This is one wild story. There's more twists and turns than any ride they've ever had at Great Adventure Amusement Park. Does anybody have a Great Adventure Amusement Park near you? I can't go on any rides that go upside down anymore. I can probably still do a wooden roller coaster, though. But there was one in Fiesta, Texas that I went on once. Oh my goodness, I couldn't wait for it to be over. I mean, it was steep. You felt like you were literally going to fall out of the thing as you were going down, you know? Other than that, I like wooden roller coasters, but that one in Fiesta, Texas was a little wild for me. So look at this. We have 74 watching that I know of, 30 likes. Please hit the like button. Please hit the the notification bell so you'll know when we come on. I would have liked to seen 5,000 subscribers by 5,000, 10,000 subscribers by Christmas Day. I don't think we're going to make that. Some of that's my fault, and some of it is that that's not how fast we grow. You know, we grow, but not that fast. So we're about, I don't know, we're about over 600 away from that right now. We're over 600. I have to come up with something really hot, a couple really hot videos. And it's getting harder, you know, it's getting harder. The competition is fierce. And sometimes I need a break, you know, from that kind of pace. But I always enjoy coming on with you guys. You know, I always enjoy it. I've never come on and say, "Gee, I wish I hadn't done that today." Doug Barlow, hi, hi. See, I almost missed you there. Where are you from again, Doug? I think we've had you before. Welcome back. Welcome back. Faith says it's freezing. Faith Lloyd says it's freezing in Cincinnati too. Yeah. So much for global warming. Global warming, meaning hot weather in the summer, hotter than usual. I'll admit that. I'll admit that. Always been hot in Arizona, right? Always been hot in Miami, right? Um, but if right now in Jacksonville, it's probably not that hot at all. You got to go a ways in before you start getting warmer temperatures. A lot of people go to Florida in February because then no matter where you go, it's going to be nice and it's going to be warm. I don't think I wanna be eating gators, Jeanette. I really think I can skip that and still feel fulfilled, or full. Cindy has tried, the alligator, but she can live without it. What about people that eat roadkill? Yeah, remember Granny Clampett's roadkill stew? Happy birthday, happy 87th birthday to Max Baer Jr., Jethro from the Beverly Hillbillies, 87 years old now. Dick Van Dyke is saying that he is aware he could die any day now. Doesn't mean he will, but he's aware that he could die any day now, and he's at peace with that. He doesn't feel any fear or anything like that. And he feels everything will be all right. What's that Jamaican term? Everything will be. I can't think of it right now. Somebody give it to me. You know, ivy, right? Ivory. Everything will be ivory. Ivory snow? I don't know, bro. It's either ivory or ivy. Mom. So yeah, Jerry Adams. I was a phone caller on the James Coco show. Asked him about the movie Only When I Laugh and what it was like to work with Christy McNichol. Said I thought she was really special because I was in love with her, but I also thought she was a great actress. And he said, "Oh, you're right about that. She's special. She's special." Then I was on with Shirley MacLaine challenging her Jesus is a great master, but so is Buddha thing. And I just said, wouldn't it be more honest if you just, said, um, that you don't believe in Jesus, that you're a believer in Eastern religion, and the two don't mix. To which Larry King, she said, "No, I believe he's a master." And Larry ended my call. He unplugged me at that point. um, there's some great Larry King stories. I did read his biography. Michael Tusa says, well, yeah, he gave us that greeting. How does Bob Joyce get the rights to sing Elvis music? Um, Meaning record it, right? Uh, an even more interesting question is how does he take an early Elvis, what appears to be, I speak of possibilities, early version of Elvis singing how he hideth my soul and put his name on it. Now there's a more modern version of that on, I guess, is that on the Safely Home CD, his latest CD? But this is the early one I'm talking about. Of course, that's another one of those big things that we have talked about. Um, I mean, lots of people sing Elvis songs, but once you put it on a recording, you have to have permission to do it, and you have to pay. You have to pay the rights for that. You can get away with it in a karaoke type thing, and not pay anything. But even then, they have tightened that up, and bands that go into to nightclubs and do all these cover songs. I've known that there have been efforts to get the owner of the nightclub or the bar to pay for the use of those songs. So let me get back down to the bottom here. Yeah, but it certainly would, Ted, be great to see him give the benediction or something during the inauguration. I would just see him keeping a low profile and going to a couple of the parties on inauguration day. Um, I don't know about being on stage. I don't know about that. I wouldn't rule it out. So some people, Gloria, believe it's King James, and that's it. No room for any other one. Obviously, the Living Bible is a paraphrase Bible. So I would understand your concern with that. Um, and yeah, but I know there's people that would be King James only people and would never embrace the NIV. Embrace Jesus. That's the most important thing. Jack, were you going to the inauguration to see Bob and see if he is Elvis Presley? um, for some reason on inauguration day, it's always bitter cold. I hope that doesn't happen this year. I hope that doesn't happen. Um, well, I'm not going to be invited to any of those parties where he would be. So, I don't know. I don't know. Budget is tight. Budget is tight. Every month we have our goals here because right now I'm retired from full-time work, and the part-time gig that I had with a gentleman who was 95 years old and turned 96 is no longer with us anymore. So that was a hit. Wonderful man and a wonderful job that I did sporadically. Sporadically. No plans now. Well, Jerry, you are entitled to your own label of the pastor. I will stay away from that. Um, Real wish they had some good frog's legs. That's another one they say tastes just like chicken. I'll have the chicken, please. Um, Gloria believes there's no purgatory. She is obviously not Catholic. I knew that already. And I believe, first of all, just like Adam and Eve wanted to know everything, it was never God's will for them to know everything, and I believe that's still true today. The we are not meant to fully understand every verse in the Word of God. Um, he's not so interested in answering all our questions as he is seeking His face and surrendering our life to Him. I do believe in the essentials of the faith, however. In terms of a preparation to meet the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, I could definitely see that, whatever you want to call that, because most people don't get around to seeking Him with their whole heart, soul, and mind. They just don't. They don't. And the people that say they do, or sometimes have the biggest secret sins of all. But if those who are His, as I say, I've heard it said, God doesn't have His favorites, but He does have His intimates, those who seek Him and put Him first. Most of us are somewhere in the in between area. So I don't think that if you're born again, but you didn't spend enough time in preparation to meet a holy, amazing God, that you're going to go be ushered right into His arms. There could be a time of preparation. So the word purgatory being associated with just like hell, but you get out, I don't think that's necessarily true. Um, there's that scripture. I'm trying to do this off the top of my head, which won't be the most effective way. Um, there's that scripture that talks about people that know Christ but still screw up and do bad things. We just read it a week or two ago in our close, I think, for Worldwide Ramblings. Um, they will be saved, but as though through fire when they had double-mindedness. That's why I never really understood that scripture in James, a double-minded man. Some people think James shouldn't be in the Bible, by the way, but a double-minded man will receive nothing from the Lord. Nobody would receive anything from the Lord then, because I've never met someone who wasn't double-minded, and the people that think they aren't double-minded are probably the most double-minded. That's been my experience. That's all I can say about that. Um, but I find that verse very interesting that those that maybe, say they were in ministry, but they it was important to them that they make enough money. We know a lot of preachers like this, don't we? That they have that beautiful house and that beautiful car, maybe a bunch of beautiful cars, maybe a car that's even worth like $1 million. Who am I describing now? um, the scriptures saying they will be saved, but as through fire. So what does that mean? It means a purification process, but we're never fully going to understand that. We're never fully going to understand Revelation. We're not. So, Jack Van Impe must have had 200 video cassette tapes that you could buy on Revelation and end time prophecy in general, but doesn't mean he was right. Doesn't mean he was right in his interpretation. I think I think God, it's much more important to God that we deny the flesh and be a witness for the gospel than it is that we have all our doctrinal, what we think is the correct doctrine, all lined up in a row. That's my take on that. We have 79 watching right now. We go to the bottom here and work up. Yeah, we got about the same temperature, Laura, in the 20s. This time of year, you just say this is the way it is, and then you have to find indoor ways to exercise sometime. Hockey, I'll just call you Hockey. It would be easier. Saying hello to Brenda. Where are you from, Hockey? Susan Carter, Miss Carter is here. Hello, Jack. Hi. Um, didn't Donald Trump previously award Elvis Presley the Medal of Freedom? Was that the title? A few years ago, he absolutely did give Elvis Presley an award. Elvis did not pick it up, though, as far as we know. He didn't come out during the ceremony. Oh, he was there. I saw him. Someone's going to say that. Brenda is now saying Elvis has 12 kids. As if the story isn't complicated enough, ladies and gentlemen. Jody. Jack Jimmy Swaggart, to mention one. Yeah, I think you're talking about when I talked about preachers that, live in extra beautiful homes. I'm not saying you have to live in, when you're a high profile preacher, you do have to have security. I understand that. And you do have to have a gate around your house and what have you. But yeah, in 1980, Jimmy Swaggart was the cat's meow, doing crusades at Madison Square Garden and everything else. It all came crashing down after Deborah Murphy came forth and talked about his time with her, a prostitute. And Jimmy's church shrank in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, because he would do like Madison Square Garden on a Friday and Saturday. Think of Friday night and a Saturday afternoon, then fly home to preach Sunday in his own church at Family Worship Center in Baton Rouge. He could be in Chicago. He could be in any number of places. And once a month, he would go out and or twice a month, he would go out and do a crusade in a big hall, like Madison Square Garden arena, and he would be able to fill it. Now it was free to get in, but of course they would take a love offering and what have you. Um, I was saved through Jimmy Swaggart Ministries, full disclosure, in February of 1984 in my mom's living room after a late night broadcast. He used to be all over New York TV, on Channel 9. He'd be on at 7 p.m., then he'd be on at midnight. And during a late night broadcast, when my living girlfriend had already gone to bed, I accepted Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. It felt like the Lord was using Jimmy that night to speak just to me. So I believe that Jimmy could slip in and out of the anointing. He could slip in and out of it. And I guess that's pretty common. I'm not saying that he didn't preach some anointed messages, but then his southern flesh would come out and he would start lambasting the Catholics and lambasting the Baptists and lambasting this one and the other one. And then when it came out that he had some serious skeletons in his own closet, people were not too quick to forgive him. But of course, they realized then they had to forgive him. So that's what the Bible says. If you don't forgive others of their transgressions, I won't forgive you. So we'll have to be watching out to see whether Bob Joyce goes to the inauguration. There's going to be a number of parties, and I would imagine that Gene Ho will be at the inauguration. Absolutely, right? Trump's former campaign photographer wrote a book on Trump, knows Trump very well. So maybe some of you have seen that. I haven't seen where Gene Ho talks about that, but if he hasn't, he will. He will. 83 watching right now. Please hit the thanks button if you can, or the Cash App button. Cash App is something you link with your checking account. I've had it for years and never had a problem with it. And you can use it for any number of purposes, including paying bills. And my Cash App handle, lowercase letters, is MediaGuy56, MEDIAGUY 56. Thank you for the many people. Maybe on Saturday I'll give a more complete list of those who have hit the Cash App. I think I'll stop saying the amount unless you want me to, because some people I think like using the Cash App because it's more private that way. If you were to tell me in advance in an email that you'd rather just be anonymous, then we could do that, So that helps very much. I believe, yeah, he's just a flawed sinner like all of us, and obviously, since I was saved through Jimmy Swaggart Ministries, I even when I was dabbling in Eastern religion, and my girlfriend Karen, not this Karen, start with a Karen, end with a Karen. We would just sit there to make fun of him. We were totally entertained by him, totally entertained. But then things he would say would start to hit home, not for her, but for me. I don't think they are related, but some people would swear they're cousins. Real. I don't think Donald Trump and Elvis are related, but there's going to be people that definitely disagree with that. Definitely disagree. That's right, Aisha. Cash App is only for the United States of America and for the UK. That's where you can use Cash App. Let me go to my email here. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. um, Look at that. Um, Now I don't know. I've just stated something that occurred to me. Maybe I shouldn't um, mention this, but I have for both of you before. So let me know in an email if you'd like me to stop doing that, especially the amount or whatever. But Susan Carter hit the Cash App for $15. Thank you very much, Susan. She's one of our longtime followers, and sometimes she hits the thanks button, and sometimes she hits the Cash App. And Todd Bradshaw, my buddy there, $25. Oh, you're able to say something there. Good. They do let you put a message there. Be sure to drink your Ovaltine. It's funny that you say that. Thank you, Todd, for $25 on the Cash App. Media Guy 56, lowercase letters, MEDIAGUY 56. And Ingrid, where am I? Susan for $15 on the Cash App. This week we heard from David Tanner. He's into the martial arts, and he showed me himself training. He's a man's man, that David Tanner. Yeah, I think one video he showed me was a while back, but still very, very good. And so thank you very, very much. Yes, Todd says, drink your Ovaltine. Never was too big of a fan of Ovaltine. I could never figure out what it is. It's kind of like burnt chocolate. It's like burnt cocoa or something. Back in the day, there were probably, there were a lot of commercials saying this was a healthy drink to drink, you know? And so, just like they used to say that with those chocolate Hostess cupcakes, John Travolta loved to tell this story and illustrate it. Sometimes when he was on a talk show, he'd bring out a plate with the Hostess chocolate cupcake and talk about the commercials he used to see growing up. And he'd have a butter knife, and he'd cut the cupcake open, and he'd say, "See here, see that white in the middle? That's the nutritious part. That's the nutritious part." They used to say that. Laura Shadley has got lots of hearts with crosses on them. That's very nice. And well, that's up to them, That's up to them. I just want to make sure that I try to make sure that they, if it's not kosher, that they tell me that in advance. Jack heard they were third cousins once removed. That herd. It's not like the herd when you're herding the sheep all together, but that herd, I need more than herd. Someone told me that's not a good one either. Lori Merrick is here. Hi, Jack. Hi, Lori. I'm not sure if we've had you join us here on a live broadcast before or not. Nancy is still with us. Nancy DeMarco. SATURDAY, Saturday. Yeah, we'll be here Saturday night for Worldwide Ramblings at 10 p.m. East Coast time, Lord willing. Sunday was such a wonderful time with Jimmy Sturr and the orchestra in southern Connecticut at the Cadillac Ranch. First time we'd ever been out there. Sean and Norma drove us there. Sean and Norma are going on the cruise in January, the sold-out cruise to Mexico and on to like 4 different other places That's never been in my budget. Don't even have a passport, to be honest with you. Karen had a passport and was in London, and she lived in Germany with her first husband for a while, a good while, a year or something. And so she's had more international travel than I have. I've been to Mexico by walking over there from San Diego when we were visiting San Diego. I've been to Canada, but now even to go to Canada, you need a passport. Give me a break. That probably had an economic hit on their, that was probably, especially the people right over the border, whatever part of Canada you're entering, St. John's Borough or whatever it is, St. John's something, which is right by Calais, Maine, or Calais, Maine. That's where we used to go into Canada from there in my second marriage. My second marriage. I count things by which marriage I was on. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. So I don't know, Brenda. Maybe. But there's so many things to this story, like, this fixation on whether Willina was the girlfriend of Elvis in Germany, that one of the newer programmers has and likes to put the name of this channel in the title. Um, Obviously, if we are speaking of the possibility that Pastor Bob Joyce could be 89, about to turn 90 in January, ages are up for debate. They're up for debate. Um, you say that when Soldier Presley was in Germany, well, Lena would have only been about 5 years old. We're saying 15 years old, something like that, you know? Let's face it, Elvis dated 15-year-olds. Um, you know, Alabama, you can date a 15-year-old with parental consent and you can marry her at 16. And I think maybe you could marry her at 14 with parental consent. It changes state to state. It's 17 here in New York. Um, I think it's the same in Washington, or it's 16, 17 in Washington. So with Matt Gaetz, it all depends where he was when he dated that 17-year-old. Katina's here, is she? There she is. I see her now. I see Katina, Team SWAT. Hello, everyone. Hello, Katina. She's joining right in there, and I appreciate that. I said that when Jack said, "Give me a break, LOL." Now we're in the middle of something. Oh, yes, you're right about that, Ted. Those Butterfingers make you feel guilty for eating them, like you're now going to be at the dentist 3 days later with a massive cavity. And aren't they tasty, though, Butterfingers? Oh, yes, that's in my top 5, but the only time I tend to eat them is around Halloween time, because she always buys the miniatures and thinks she's going to get 100 kids. And every year we get the usual 14 to 15 or less kids. We don't live in one of those big ritzy developments. They want to hit those big developments. Time is of the essence for these kids. So if you're in certain places in this city that I live in, you can have 300-400 kids driven in by their parents. And it's so unfair, but it's the way it is. If they're living there, they probably got the money to afford it. No, not a Baby Ruth person. It's okay. I used to love the Mars bars. Certainly love my Hershey's bar with almonds. Chunky. That was another one. Give me my nuts with the raisins. Yes. I used to love Fifth Avenue bars. Anybody like Fifth Avenue? Obviously, everybody likes it. Everybody lices. Well, then you have to buy a special shampoo if you have lice. Back in my early days working as a shelter cop, in Chester, New York, for the city of New York. The late night bus would come in, and we would process them right on the second floor of the wing that was above, not above the infirmary, but the other side of the main building, and they would be required right then to take showers, these gentlemen, and we would hand them shampoo that could take care of any lice that they might have. And they had to wear different clothes and stuff. That process ended at some point, but I remember being on the midnight shift and dealing with that. I remember that. It was like prison, you know? Here you are at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. You're being told to strip and shower and use this lice shampoo. Boy, I had forgotten all about that. I had forgotten all about that. Melissa VD joins us. Hello, Melissa VD. Good evening, one and all. I love paydays myself. Yes, I know what you mean. Neo, 100 grand. 100 grand. How fast would you go through 100 grand, Neo? Zero bar rules. I'm definitely in the middle of a conversation. Speaking of bar rules, now that I have Paramount Plus, I had to get it because Dexter Original Sin debuts, I guess, at 9 o'clock East Coast time tonight, midnight spec- uh, Pacific time, not specific, midnight West Coast time, Pacific. And I think it's just one play, and then they play it again on Sunday night at 10 o'clock East Coast time, I think. I think. I mean, heck, when does the West Coast get a good play time? I don't know. That's on Paramount Plus and Showtime, but I'm not sure if it's both together. I'm a little confused, but I've had Showtime now for about a week, and I'm counting on other people getting Showtime and Paramount Plus. Got a little bit in there, you know, just a little bit. Um, so this week I binge watched the second season of Your Honor with Bryan Cranston. I had seen the first season. There won't be a third season because they went from, I think, over 1 million viewers for the first 10 episodes down to 250,000 viewers for the second one. They got rid of his son he was killed off at the end of the first season. So, but I, enjoyed most of it. Love Bryan Cranston. Also, there were other actors. Rosie Perez is in there and what have you. So I've been binge watched the second and final season of Your Honor with Bryan Cranston. And I saw some Bar Rescue. I haven't seen John Taffer in quite a while. It used to be on another network and you could see it free, and now you have to subscribe to Paramount to see Bar Rescue, which hurts them, you know. But always like seeing John Taffer yelling at some cocky bar owner, you know. So let's see, Real. What did you initially say about Walina? Yeah, you're saying she was born in 1953. Um, so they're saying she would be 5 years old in 62. See, there's all this, and um, I think I don't want to say that, but I think Walina is older than being 5 years old in 1962. That's my personal belief. But other than that, you can drive yourself crazy trying to go through this, you know. Good evening, Regina Terwilliger. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Pop On to Pop Off. We just popped on to say Howdy. And we've got 80 people watching. We're pontificating whether Pastor Bob Joyce will go to the inauguration. I think Gene Ho will. So, will Pastor Bob Joyce go to the inauguration, and how visible will he be? Will he keep it on the down low, go to a couple of parties? Will he be on the stage of the inauguration? Um, where would he be if he wasn't, you know? But it's been so wonderful to see so many people realizing that Trump isn't the Antichrist, and that a Trump administration will be a vast improvement from what we have now. Meanwhile, President Biden is busy pardoning or, what do you call it? Commuting the sentence of, I think, all in all, it's like 1,500 people with a small amount of actual pardons. He has commuted the sentence of ex gangsters and what have you. Some controversial people in the mix. It just came out. I haven't looked it all over, but he says there's more coming. There's more coming. Hey, let him keep busy with the pardons, and he won't be trying to get money to the Ukraine like he tried to get $24 billion more for a war that's going to end soon because Trump is going to work it out with both Zelensky and Putin. He's very good at that. And there's already signs that that's what's going to happen. And even Zelensky knows that. But Zelensky's saying, well, I sure like those billions coming this way. I bet they do. But we're not, we're probably going to avert World War III. So I think, it is important to talk about that from time to time. And people like, well, some of the CNN folk, are, some of them are starting to speak more favorably. CNN, MSNBC are all facing major budget cuts, high profile people that are paid a ridiculous amount of money to get no audience. They only got 5 million viewers on election night at CNN, and they used to be the bomb. They used to get 5 times that or more. They used to be the bomb. MSNBC got a little more than them, but Fox News got 10 million viewers plus on election night. On election night. So it's been really cool to see so many people excited about the presidency of Donald Trump, and I haven't heard anything about from Rashid Tlaib or Omar. Really, I haven't been following night and day though. I watch less now that the election is over, but I checked in with Jesse Waters, and of course, everybody's talking about these drones over New Jersey, Philadelphia, parts of New York, and what have you. And to have Admiral Kirby say there's nothing to it was he probably will regret that statement for the future. I think he will. It's not the first time he's dismissed something like that. Big hunk candy bars, real. Joe Webb is here, not Jimmy Webb. 1984. What a deal! What a deal! I think they were too early. Orwell was too early with 1984. But he's talking to Cindy about that. Aisha in Australia makes her own cookies. I thought you were going to say almond meat. Almond meal, shredded coconut, sugar, unsalted butter, chocolate chips. Sounds like a dandy cookie. Sounds like it's fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. Paydays, huh? Says Brenda Noyce. You are for those former great ones, huh? That were, you know, popular in the 70s. Paydays and Babe Ruth and what else? But I find myself, if I must have a chocolate bar, usually going to the the Hershey bar with almonds. Not a big dark chocolate fan, with one big exception: York peppermint patties. Love them, love them, love them. Love them, love them, love them. Clark bars, I remember those, Brenda. Yeah, you like these classic candy bars. I don't think I've seen a Clark bar in years. And now we're talking about muffins. Make my own muffins too, Laura, says Aisha. Now you have to have a moist muffin. I say this, and believe it or not, I'm being innocent in my comments, and then I immediately realize probably should have left that one out, Ted Richards. So what do you think? No, I've never heard of a big hunk of candy, just a hunk of burning love. A hunk of burning love, baby. Robin Roman joins us. I love Pearson's nut roll, huh? Is that pecan nuts there, Robin Roman? Boy, remember Stuckey's? Anybody remember Stuckey's with the pecan roll? Signs 6 miles away. Best pecan rolls at Stuckey's. I think I had one once or twice. It was okay. I didn't say, "Oh my goodness, I'm so in love," and I didn't sing that song saying, "I'm not in love with the pecan roll. It's just a funny thing." What's the lyric? 10cc. I'm not in love. I used to play that song all the time. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying to myself, I don't need to watch Laura Ingraham every night. I can't. I don't get Newsmax one. I used to like to watch Rob Schmidt. They tend to have the second level of guest on, but some of them are good. Like I like the guy who just got out of prison. Well, Bannon just got out, but before that, the other guy who was out for a little while now. He's going to be in the Trump administration. Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro is going to be in the Trump administration, we believe. The people here that have been following Jack for a long time believe Bob once was Elvis. We also believe in not harassing Pastor Bob about anything. He is doing what he is called to do. So, what sparked that? Let's see. Yeah, I've only been doing live shows for a couple of years, but obviously I got comments before that, and I've been doing this. I think in January it'll be 7 years. No, I've never seen a big hunk candy bar. I have not. They are long white taffy bars. That's another kind of thing. Taffy make you think like you're going to have a cavity the size of Cleveland the next day with nuts in them. I don't think you can find them in stores, but you can get them online still. And when you say taffy, that reminds me of south of the border in South Carolina, right? And I have been to south of the border a number of times on my way or coming back from Florida. Todd Bradshaw does remember Stuckey's. Yeah. They always had that cheap breakfast, right? The 1.99 breakfast or something, but they were pushing those pecan rolls, Todd. They really, really were. Pineapple pieces with honey and coconut shredded. All that good holiday stuff, right? Yes, you were telling to Joe Webb. So, Joe, where are you? 1984, what a do. Jack, you have been around. What does your gut tell you about Bob? Just too many things that point to him being Elvis. I can't understand why people think it's so crazy to think that he can't be. Sure, sure. I would agree with that. But I will always say I speak of possibilities. I could be wrong about the whole thing, you know? Um, give the Holy Spirit the space that he insist on to keep on keeping on the way it is. I just don't know if 2025 is going to be some kind of a breakthrough year. I don't know what is going to happen. Better than Belgium chocolate, Real? The chocolate I had in Australia was the best ever. I've never heard of Australian chocolate. In other words, I've never, every year, one of my mother's relatives, my mother being from Liverpool, England, she used to be sent over some Cadbury chocolates. That was my first experience with Cadbury that Hershey would end up buying. And I don't think it's quite as good as those chocolates I used to get from Cadbury. And certainly the assortment is not as big as the Cadburys that used to come every Christmas from England. Um, and then there's, of course, other uh, great chocolates out there. But again, I'm not really a big dark chocolate fan unless it's in a York peppermint patty type thing, that kind of thing. Tammy DeVille joins us. Hello. But I would love some of that Australian chocolate. Yeah, saltwater taffy, Ted. And that was big at south of the border, but also, of course, in parts of Maine, like when you go to Old Orchard Beach and Florida and what have you. But it felt like, oh, this is so bad for my teeth. Just like eating those Butterfingers. Just like eating those Butterfingers. I think Butterfingers was definitely my father's favorite candy bar now that I think about it. So, coming up on almost quarter to midnight here on the East Coast. We have been on almost for 2 hours. Isn't that amazing? And this is just a pop on to pop off. But when I see people enjoying themselves and what have you, I want to keep it going for a little bit. And then I will relax tomorrow. I know Karen wants to swim at the Y inside. It will be a high of like in the low 20s, and then it's going to start to dip. One of her friends from Orlando, Florida, is here. In fact, she stopped in front of the house tonight. Karen threw on her winter coat because she didn't want to come in. She just wanted to say a quick hello and remind her that they're having a gathering tomorrow. Problem is, Karen doesn't want to drive at night, and I don't want her to drive at night when I can do it for her. So, but this could interfere with the premiere of my Dexter original sin, because that's at 9 o'clock. And I can't tell Karen, well, you wait there till 10 because I'm watching Dexter here. Now, Christian Slater was on Jimmy Fallon on Monday night. He plays, this time around, he plays Harry, Dexter's father. This is a prequel, so we've got a younger lad playing Dexter. He looks quite a bit like a young version of Michael C. Hall, who is a lot older than he looks. I guess he's in his 50s now, but he could easily pass for 35. He's in great shape, thinner than ever, Michael C. Hall, but a healthy thin, not emancipated, emaciated, whatever I'm trying to say. Um, so yeah, Joe, um, we talk about all the coincidences, and we're still doing the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis, but some people that say that he isn't are the Elvis protectors. They are the Elvis protectors. I mean, you get to talk about the Smith cousins, and I have this in a video, and I think it's part two. Yeah, part two of the top 50 reasons why Bob may be Elvis. We have a roll-in video from Pastor Bob, and prior to that, we have from the Bill Bixby special. He did two of them. We have cousin Gene Smith saying that he looked at Elvis in the coffin and, just didn't look like him, doesn't believe that was Elvis Presley in the coffin. I have a firm statement there. I don't believe it was Elvis Presley in the coffin. But we got Billy Smith and his YouTube video channel, and the two ladies with him is one his wife, I think so. and they don't. That's not the gospel they preach, unless they've changed their mind. And I haven't seen them lately. Um, Elvis derangement syndrome, right, Jody? Yeah. Or they feel that it's their mission in life to protect him, and you know, I guess that's kind of understandable. Everybody's got to have a hobby. Hearts Wild joins us. She always comes in late, like almost 2 hours in, and then I feel bad. Hi, Hearts Wild. Did you just get out of work? Or were you chasing those drones in New Jersey, huh? What? Anybody have a real experience with one of those drones? Anything chocolate and mint. I know what you mean, Jeanette Fair, or a Reese's peanut butter cup. Yeah, and don't give me the dark chocolate. Oh, Karen. Oh, I got the Reese's peanut butter cups, and then they're all dark chocolate. No, no, no. Dark chocolate is bitter. It's only good in, you know, if not the York peppermint patty. Um, there are other times when it's okay, but I'm a milk chocolate person, to which Karen says there's no flavor in milk chocolate. It depends on the milk chocolate. Hershey's milk chocolate bars have a flavor. Love songs. That's a pioneer contemporary Christian group. Love songs. When I first started getting interested in contemporary Christian music, one of the first albums I was given by my first wife, Mary, was an album from Love Songs. And then the other one was Don Francisco, He's Alive. I have a video playing that song here. I couldn't monetize that because I don't own that song, but you can see he Don Francisco, He's Alive. I think some people thought I was talking about Elvis in the video, and then they hear me playing the Don Francisco song. Divine. Oh, I see. Priscilla outdated Elvis on that interview. Oh, outed Elvis on that interview. Yep, that's we talk about that in our top 50 reasons, which is not yet complete. Um, that's true. When she said just last week, Elvis said, then corrected herself. Yep, that is true. That is true. There's so many of those. So whether Walena was the girlfriend of Elvis in Germany or not not too much hinges on that. We speak of possibilities. Obviously, she looks like her and what have you, but I'm not positive of that. I'm not positive. Mounds is dark chocolate, right? Free to be. And that's probably why I don't like it anywhere near as much as I like the Almond Joy with the milk chocolate. You reminded me, that's right. An early dark chocolate bar, the Mounds bar. Yeah, Almond Joy. Um, the other version I don't particularly care for. Three Musketeers, nothing wrong with that. Milky Way, nothing wrong with that. Um, I say I used to like that Mars bar. That had a almond in it too, and the almond Hershey's Kisses are great. I can eat a ton of them. You need to go on a cruise, Aisha, where they have the chocolate lovers buffet, the chocolate lovers buffet on a cruise. Jimmy Stir cruises in January, and Sean and Norma are going to be working the cruise. Isn't that wonderful? They're working the cruise. So they'll tell me all about it, but it won't be like I'm actually there, Jack, how about Andre's chocolate mint? Is that what you're saying, Jody? Oh yeah, those little with the green mint. Love them, love them, love them, love them. Have ate maybe as many as 3/4 of a box in one time. Have I missed it? What is the answer to the question, please? Will Bob Joyce be at the inauguration? No, we're speculating. We're speculating. I don't think anyone can give us the answer. Anyone that could give us the answer won't. And but we, it's just like my video where I talk about the George Klein funeral. the Memphis DJ that Elvis called George Klein his best friend and gave him a Cadillac. And then when George passed away, he was on the big Memphis station playing Elvis music, and then he got on to the Sirius XM Elvis channel. It was the big fish there, and so then he lived a good life into his 80s, and then he passed away. And it appears that Bob Joyce and Matt Joyce went to the funeral. We tell that story a number of times, so we don't have the answer. We're just, you know, getting getting people on their toes to watch, and I'll try to tap into some sources to see if he was there, but low key. He may not have even formally made up his own mind yet as to whether he's going, and um, but he has been to Mar-a-Lago. He has been there. Um, Hearts Wild, Bob, is for Trump. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of pastors that are very happy. Jimmy Sturr is very happy about the election of Donald Trump, and so am I. There's an excitement in the country. There's a hope in the country. And it's not that this is a hope that substitutes the hope in Jesus Christ, because God's people had a lot to do with being used of God, because God's fingerprints, I believe, are all over the election. God has always used flawed men, or he'd have nobody to use. So the fact that, yes, Trump has been a philanderer, he's been unfaithful many times and what have you, people that say, oh, he never did that. He never slept with Stormy Daniels. Really? You really believe that? And it's not illegal to pay hush money. What they talked about in New York with D.A. Bragg, oh, man, of course, was that there was a bookkeeping error, and the statute of limitations was over, had expired on prosecuting him for that. But somehow D.A. Bragg and others turned it into 34 felonies. So when I was talking to my friend who I had lunch with Monday and bought some of his Maybrook honey, he said, well, I said to him, I know you well enough to know I worked with you for 19 years. There's no way you supported Kamala Harris for president. I think this is a happy wife, happy life situation. And he said, well, I wouldn't want to vote for someone with 34 felonies. You got to really do the research here. You got to do the research. It was a bookkeeping error. D.A. Bragg, do a study on the man who made sure this happened with help from others. Think about all the stuff that's happened in the last 4 years with a man in serious cognitive decline being our president, and he's still trying to do bad things before he leaves. I don't hold it against him for pardoning Hunter Biden with a foolproof pardon that'll last him forever, I guess, as long as he doesn't do anything violent. That's fine. He's probably going to also pardon his brother and anybody else involved with some of the things that went on with Hunter's relations with China and the Ukraine, of course, doing the influence peddling allegedly for the big guy, and allegedly the big guy is Joseph R. Biden when he was vice president and probably senator too. Free to be only 6 likes. Free to be only 6 likes. 6 likes for what? I got 49. Come on, hit that like button. Let's get more. Now I want to go make fudge. Well, that's always good. They make some great fudge. We have this place called Soon's Orchard here in New Hampton, New York. Oh, when people leave the Hudson Valley, they remember certain places and yearn for them. And Soon's Orchard is one of them. That's why this woman that's here from Orlando, Florida, DeFilippi's Bakery, oh yes, Colonial Diner, You can't go to Tony Boffa's anymore. They closed after 65 years. New York Pizza, I don't know where she goes for that. What her favorite spot is Soon's Orchard and Coney Island Restaurant with their hot dogs, that famous Coney sauce that they have. It's not as good as it was in the 70s, but it's still good. And so, yeah, Ted Richards, the January 6th goers who are incarcerated, Trump, it looks like he's going to pardon every single one of them. And since Joe Biden is pardoning a whole bunch of people, or he's commuting their sentence, um, they what can they say? Some of these people are bad people that Joe Biden is pardoning. But the pardon of the president is absolute. And believe me, you want to keep it that way. You want to keep it that way. Go ahead. Pardon your brother as you did your son. Pardon Jill. Pardon everybody. And then go to your beach house and think about the last 4 years and what you did to this country. Think about it. Bob Joyce, Notre Dame. I don't think he was there, right? Trump was at the new Notre Dame Cathedral. Elvis sang at the Notre Dame Cathedral at the Joyce Center. Gene Ho said Bob Joyce, Notre Dame. It was a riddle. Looked it up. Elvis sang at Notre Dame, USA at the Joyce Center. Interesting. I'll look into that. Yeah, I don't see everything Gene Ho says. So when people send me tape on Gene Ho in the email, I'm very grateful. My email is jackthefairguy, Fair, jackthefairguy at gmail.com. Type that in. We are over 2 hours, guys. We are over 2 hours. Yeah. So we'll see. Saturday night, we'll be doing worldwide ramblings at 10 p.m. East Coast time. Try to get a pre recorded video up before that. And, oh, yeah. Soda with no fizz, Hearts Wild, is a bummer. It's a bummer. It's an old bummer. Hot cocoa with mint sounds fine to me, Tammy DeVille. But I can have a hot fudge sundae from Carvel in January in a blizzard. I just don't eat it outside in the blizzard. But don't have too much cocoa these days because I'm, trying to, as my son says, I don't want to drink my calories. I don't want to drink my calories. But if you don't have a problem in that area, go for it. What's your sugar, though? What's your sugar? Daz Darren Bestable, dance, dance, dance like it's today because it is. And you are here and now. Yeah, I know what you're saying there. Nothing you can do about yesterday, and tomorrow is imaginary. Live in the now, but live for Jesus in the now. That's what I would say. Not that I am very successful doing that all the time, but when I was chasing gurus and very influenced by Ram Dass, I read the same books apparently Elvis Presley read, including Be Here Now from Ram Dass. It was all about being here, being now, So, yes, I agree. Free to be. God bless everyone here and a Merry Christmas. The best Happy New Year. Be safe out there. Thank you. Free to be. Todd Bradshaw, this has been a good test for the new Ethernet cable. Yeah. Oh, so as people were telling me on the last show, on the Saturday night show, it didn't sound so good. It sounded a little computery. It sounded like I don't think it's a mic problem, but how has it been tonight? How is the audio tonight? Does it sound nice and clear, crisp, without sounding a little distorted? How does the audio sound, everybody? I'm glad you brought that up, Todd Bradshaw. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I'm going to have to call you the assistant grand patriarch. Sounds good, huh? Okay, so I think on Saturday night, so many people stream that maybe there's a little bit of push on the system sometimes. I meant to do a pre-recorded video, or at least a pre-recorded test, to see how things sounded when it's just pre-recorded onto OBS before I transfer it to YouTube. Audio chain is perfect. That's wonderful. See, these things are just weird sometimes. Sometimes I have noticed before, probably in a heavy use time, that it can be a little distorted sometimes. And I'm sure you've all heard me say something, then repeat what I just said. That's another glitch that comes in there. But, what are you going to do? The technical world is not perfect. And I thank YouTube for the voice. I really do. So thank you, Joe. Good night to you. Good night to everybody. Saturday night at 10 p.m. Thank you, Rita. For the next, Ted wants me to decorate my mic stand again. What is that? Would look great on that mic boom, Jack. What is that? An RE 20. I don't know. Glad you stopped by, Darren and Hearts Wild. Thank you for those who hit the Cash App, Todd Bradshaw and Susan Carter. Thank you very, very much. And thank you for those who hit the thanks button earlier, which replay crowd you can do, or you can do the Cash App, Media Guy 56, lowercase letters, Media Guy 56. Appreciate that so much as we work on the month of December. Early on in 2025, I'm going to have to pay tax on these tips. And stupidly, I did not prepare for that. I did not prepare for that. So, but thank you, those who hit the thanks button here. I can't get that far back on the list all of a sudden, but I know I thanked you already. It is always so much appreciated. Yeah, I think Andy did a good job, Todd. I think he did. I wish I could have met Ram Dass's guru, Neem Karoli Baba. I thought his guru was Paramahansa Yogananda. I bought a book by if not by Paramahansa Yogananda, a book about him. Maybe Ram Dass wrote that too. Ram Dass, by the way, was really Richard Alpert. He and Timothy. I hate when this happens. They were both college professors, working in the same university, and I think teaching the same subject. And they gave LSD on a voluntary basis. They gave LSD to their students. That cost them their jobs at the university. It did, but that was their experiment. And Timothy Leary, Timothy Leary and Ram Dass, Timothy Leary and Richard Alpert, who would become Ram Dass. And I saw him speak in New York City during that time period when I was chasing gurus. Mostly him, though. And I didn't get into Bhagwan Rajneesh. I knew he was the phony thing. But in 1984, I pushed all that aside when Jesus called me to receive him as my Lord and Savior. You can't mix the two no more than you can mix hot fudge with tomato sauce. It doesn't work. And so since 84, I don't entertain that. because Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but through me. That feels right in my heart, but it's a free country or a free world. You may be watching in Cape Town, South Africa. Welcome. Welcome to my friends in Wales and my friends in Australia, home of the former Grand Matriarch. uh, I know that back then Ram Dass talked about Paramahansa, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't challenge you. I went to a few ashrams, one up in South Fallsburg. That was Swami Muktananda. It was a former Catskill hotel that they bought, and he would sometimes be there. Swami Muktananda. The time I went there, the actress who was in Only When I Laugh with Christy McNichol, who I referred to earlier, was there, sitting close to the feet of Swami Muktananda, who had an orange robe on, an orange wool hat, and dark orange tinted glasses. This man looked cool. No shoes, and he sat on a big throne, and he was very friendly. But see, there was only one problem. This is a man who supposedly worked through all their lifetimes, all their karma, and awakened their kundalini, and was finished. And the only reason he was sitting here before you now was he came back to help other people on their journey. He was capable of great miracles. He could astral fly and be at another meeting in San Diego from South Fallsburg in 10 minutes. If he wanted to, he could levitate off the ground. Never saw him do that. And so he was capable of incredible miracles. One thing he could not master, though, he could master one word of English, not one word. Not even hello. That struck me as interesting. For that, he had a very beautiful Indian woman interpreter, his right hand woman. And guess what? When Swami Muktananda left his body again, I guess his work was complete. She inherited the business. She became the guru. Now, it was not said or implied before that she had worked through everything. She was just simply his assistant, but she became the guru over in South Fallsburg. I don't know what happened to her, but I thought that was also very interesting as well. Very interesting as well. I'll tell you, the food was good. I love my Indian food that they had there. That was very fine, and didn't stay overnight or anything there. Also, there was one in Monroe, New York, a different guru. Karen was even there once for a yoga class way back in the day. I went to that Monroe ashram once, and I don't remember anything about it now. Jack, do I have any pets? I have Willie Loomis. I'll show you a picture on Saturday night. I have a picture of Willie Loomis. I'll show you. We found him at it's the former East and East convenience store where I hooked up with Karen after not seeing her for a long time. She was in there doing scratch-off lottery tickets, and my second marriage was going down the tubes, and I knew that. And we talked. She remembered me because we went to St. Joseph's in the 60s, second grade through sixth grade, when I was posthumously thrown out of Catholic school at that point. Stupid decision on my part. So anyway, that became what is it now? Valero. And there was Willie Loomis. Well, he wasn't called Willie Loomis at that point. We came to find out that he had been called by the local people that lived around there Mayhem. We're going to get a cat named Mayhem. But he didn't live up to the name. He was out there in the front, and when he saw us, he began to audition for us. He's a boy cat, gray, white, and black, and looks to be about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. And he started rolling around on his back and rubbing up against Karen and myself. And it was like the animal in the pet store. He knows that this is a big moment. He's saying, "Pick me, pick me, pick me." And he was willing to get in the car. It wasn't until he got in the car and we had to go over to CVS to the drive-through window that he was feeling a little ambivalent about his decision, but not terrible. And we got him home, and he allowed Karen to carry him in, and we eventually found out that this cat that we thought was a girl cat was a boy cat when we took him to the vet for his shot and whatever, check him out. That he was a boy, and at that point we named him Willie Loomis, which is from Dark Shadows, the original Dark Shadows series. Willie Loomis appears. He's the actor who would play him for most of the time, was the second guy to play him, and he is the one who opens up the coffin to discover that Barnabas Collins is there and ready to greet him by starting to choke him, reaching up from the coffin to choke him. Anyway, he's Willie Loomis, and I'll show you a picture on Saturday night. He's a wonderful cat. He favors Karen over me. He used to sit on my lap more than he does now. One time I made the mistake of when he was trying to get out the door of being firm in my reply to "Get back, Willie," and he took that as like I was, yelling at him, and it's never been the same since. But other times he's fine with me. Good night, everyone, and God bless. Thank you, Rill. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody else. We have gone 2 hours and 21 minutes. Amazing for pop on to pop off, but that's because you people are so great. Hit the subscribe, the like button, and the notification bell, and the thanks button if you will. I appreciate that so much. And we'll talk to you Saturday night at 10 p.m. East Coast time, if not before, for Worldwide Ramblings. Bye-bye for now.